Test, test. So, hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about privacy in DeFi on RWA. I'm in Cannes since a few weeks, and everyone talk about privacy on DeFi, and mainly through RWA, Vault, and so on. So we will deep dive on it today. I'm Tom, ecosystem lead at iExec since 3 years, handling all partnerships, collaborations, deal integration, and so on. We've been in the privacy space since 2017. We, since this time, work in TE. We build an entire protocols based on that stack. And the goal of today is to present our new protocols that we just launched on Monday, focused on DeFi and RWA. So let's start about a small screenshot of the RWA market. Now, on-chain, you have a multitude of assets, but we can see with this graphic that mostly, this is mostly 3 assets on-chain, which is like the US Treasury debt, which is T-bills. The second one is commodities, and the third one is asset-backed credit, which is like receivables, invoice, private credit, and so on. So today we have more than 26 billions on-chain. We can think that it's a lot, but let's compare to TradFi now. There is like a comparison table about TradFi market cap and RWA on-chain market cap. We can see that today we have more than 360 trillions in TradFi, and only 26 billions in on-chain. So we can see only as well that we mostly have credit market on-chain, which represent more than 0.02% of the total market cap. And in total, we have 0.007% of the total market cap in TradFi, which is tokenized on-chain. I mean, it's quite small. And the goal of today, my presentation, is to have how we can grow this number, but also how we can support the institutional, the RWA issuer, the asset issuer to come on-chain in a fully compliant, but also in a fully confidential way. So here is deep dive on the topic, but also the problems. How we can improve the tech on the blockchain, but also how we can improve compliance and confidentiality on-chain. So what's actually blocking institutional adoptions today? At the very beginning, blockchain were built to be open, but we do think at iExec that institutional, RWA issuer, asset issuer, family offices, asset manager, needs the opposite. Transparency, we do think that transparency kills strategy, because every on-chain positions, allocation sites, LP management, and so on are visible publicly in real time on blockchain today. It kills strategy, it kills yield, it kills yield strategy. So we thought that only 0.007% are on-chain, and we do believe as well that the blocker isn't tech, it's transparency. But to answer these questions, we don't think the answer is a private chain. For us, it's mostly creating and having a private layer on top of each EVM or non-EVM chain, on top of each public infrastructure. So we built that, and because we do believe that private blockchain have the same problem as at the beginning, because we have isolated liquidity, we have no router access. The most of the private blockchain have some gate to enter into the private blockchain, and they're built on top of unproven infrastructure. So we do believe that creating a private layer on each EVM chain are the solutions to resolve this problematic. So we built a private layer on top of EVM, which is we allow institutional but also retails to come and to have confidentiality on top of, which allows as well institutional to work in a battle test infrastructure, which is EVM. EVM is here since I think more than 10 years. So we do believe in that philosophy, creating a private layer on top of each public infrastructure. So our mantra mainly is don't move the liquidity at the privacy where it's already live. So mainly what the fix, creating a confidentiality layer on top of each public blockchain on each public infrastructure. So let's deep dive on like the real topic of this presentation, which is how TE can improve and can become like a primitive for DeFi on RWA. So TE stands for like Trust Execution Environment. And this headline says it all. I mean, compute you can trust, data no one can see. Essentially, TE is a black box for smart contract executions. As an input, you will have your balance, your amount, your LP positions, your position in the general way in DeFi and RWA. It will put inside an enclave, which is like an enclave with enclave TDX, sorry. Inside this enclave TDX, the smart contract will run and the logic run inside the hardware enclave. So no external party will have access to it. No external party, even like iExec, the node provider, the infra provider, can alter it and read it at the end. As an output, you will have the encrypted result. Only the authorized recipients can decrypt the output, and only the output, which is like the result of the smart contract computations, will be publicly on-chain. No, like the input and the computation inside the enclave of Intel TDX. So here is like how TE brings confidentiality to EVM with like an example of like our new protocol, which is Nox. You can search in Twitter, like on Google as well. We just launched the testnet on Monday at HCC here. And here is like the workflow and how it works. It's all beginning with users who interact with the dApp. And before the dApp are already integrated the Nox protocol. So the user will integrate it with like another gateway, which is essentially like an encryption-decryption bridge between the public layer and like the confidentiality layer. It's a bridge between the public and the private world. On the on-chain part, you have an ACL, which is a Nox smart contracts, ensuring on where the user can define essentially who can see what, the auditor, the regulator, the counterparty, or even no one. On the on-chain part, off-chain part, it's where the magic happens and the real thing happens. The ingestor will listen the event from the Nox smart contract on-chain, and he will route them to the runner, which is essentially the enclave TDX. This runner will push back the result for the private computation who happen inside enclave to the handle gateway through the KMS, which is like a element, key element in our protocol. The KMS, ensuring that only the authorized recipients can have access to the computed data at the end. So let's deep dive now on most the use case, how we can use TE in DeFi, firstly, and we'll see more in the RWA part. We have I put three use cases in this slide. The two first one is quite the same, but it's all about having private order executions in DeFi protocols. What it mean? You will be able to put some order in an order book, which is processed inside a TE enclave. So all the order inside this enclave will be invisible until settlement, which is they will be not public until the settlement on chain and the trade happens. So the trade execute on the intent never leaks, which is essentially at the end dark liquidity pools, which is dark pools. So with dark pools, the pool composition, the position size, and the LP management and the LP allocations will remain encrypted inside the enclave. The third use case, which is quite linked to the RWA one, is more privacy vault, encrypted vault positions. With this type of use case, our user will interact with DeFi Vault without revealing the deposit side, the yield strategy, and at the end, the exit timing, which is quite important for institutions, RWA issuer, asset manager, and so on. Now let's deep dive more on TX RWA, because as I said at the beginning, we are here since 1 week, and everyone talk about RWA. And we want to be more focused on that topic because we do believe that there is one places for RWA X confidentiality in the coming months, in the coming year, and I think it's the answer that how institutions can bring on chain a lot of assets, more than 26 billion, and more than 0.07% on chain. So here is how it works essentially on chain about the Nox workflow. You have at the beginning an ERC20 token or any classic token on your EVM chain or not. You will put into a wrapper, which is an escrow smart contract. and the wrapper will wrap it into like a C token, which means confidential token. This confidential token, it's my job to develop that, will be used into like some integration on chain, into like protocols, RWA platform, RWA marketplace, and so on. We work with a lot of, we discuss as well with a lot of vault provider, RWA issuer, as I said, to integrate this type of standards, because as an input, you will have like an ERC20. Let's take an example on the EVM chain. You will have an ERC20, but as an output, you will have an ERC 7940, which is a new standard developed by OpenZeppelin and Zama, which handling like whole the confidentiality on chain. You will have an example after. So the work for us is to implement these standards to like the existing protocols in DeFi and RWA. So it's our main problematic in the next few months to have like a composability, to have a liquidity behind like the confidential token. Let's talk about like a huge feature for us, which is the selective disclosure. This feature allows, as I said, like investor, asset issuer, RWA provider to grant access to like the history of the transactions to anyone else that want to have access to that, meaning like institutional, regulators, counterparty, auditor, and so on. So they will do that with, as I said, the ACL smart contract engine, which is a smart contract inside like a TE, Intel, TDX. So at the end, investor on like institutional define who can access to their data and under what conditions. It's quite powerful because we do believe that we need to mix compliance and confidentiality to have like a success, at the end. Because the main things today is like we saw a lot of new regulatory framework each month, like each year, and we need to work with that and not like hiding our eyes about that. So at the end with this feature, your asset will be auditable for regulator and invisible for the market. So which is quite important for any RWA issuer that want privacy on chain. So here is like a concrete example of who see what at the end. On the investor side, he will be able to see their own balance, a classic one. He will control who access their data within the ICL engine, and he can set ICL rules. As I said, define who can see what at the end, auditor, regulator, nobody. On the regulator side, he will have access to the data that they receive the grant access at the end. He will be able to see what's compliance required, like nothing more. And he will have, as a proof of like validations, the blockchain explorer transactions. Lastly, on the market, the retail user or the market will know that the transaction occur on chain. They will see the wallet addresses, the sender and the receiver, but the amount and the portfolio exposure will be fully hid. No market exposure on these two topics. Here is a concrete example. This morning I sent one RSC, which is our token. Let's buy it. Which is, yes, the RLC. So I did like one public transactions and I did one private transactions. The first one you can see on the Explorer that I sent one RLC here and here. I did the same with the confidential RLC, which is like a C RLC within our protocols and through Nox. In the Explorer, in Block Scout, you will be only able to see the receiver and the sender, as I said before, and not like the total amount of the transactions will be hidden by these few dots. You will have like a confidential transfer informations, but no amount on the Explorer, fully hide through the Nox protocols, which is quite powerful at the end. These two screenshots come from Block Scout Explorer through the Nox. So I will have some link at the end, but feel free to come into our demo to wrap it, to test it, and to transfer some confidential token, and to enjoy like the private life at the end. Here is some use case about RWA now, because I do believe that RWA will be more like open to have some confidentiality and compliance in the next few months. We work with two use cases mainly, with on top of two standards, new standards, which is the ERC 3643 and which is like the ERC 7540, which is like I said a lot of number, but I will deep dive on how it's mean. The first one is essentially like an ERC20 with some compliance on top of. So you won't be able to trade an ERC 3643 without a compliance check, which is like a KYB, a KYC. So yeah, you won't be able to do that without this KYC and KYB, which is quite powerful to institutions, to come on chain, to trade T-bills, commodities, private equity with these standards. The second one is, I mean, essentially the same, but for Vault. You won't be able to like jump into a Vault without KYC, without KYB, and these standards essentially are asynchronous Vault, which is like for deposit and for withdraw, you will have like a redeem period where the compliance check happens and where like the protocol check if you are fully compliant with the smart contract rules. For these two standards, which is like mainly the use case for stock, tokenized security, private equity, private credit, and so on, and Vault, which is a more yield strategy on chain, we will integrate Nox on top of to like add a mix of compliance and security and confidentiality. So at the end, you will be fully compliant, but as well fully like secure and fully confidential on chain. So here is about Nox protocols. As I said, we just launched our protocols on Monday on testnet. It's like a month of works. We are more than happy to have some feedback about like the demo, but also the protocol itself. We have some developer here. Feel free to talk with them about tech. And we have like built these protocols to have an entire playbook to support institutional to come on chain, but also to support RWA issuer, RWA marketplace, RWA like platform. And if a projects want to have confidentiality, we can support them to have that on top of their projects. So as I said at the end, you will have with Nox protocols in the next few months on mainnet, on mainly EVM chain. You will have composability, I mean liquidity behind the confidential token. You will have like a smooth UX, which is like quite important to onboard more retail users at the end. You will have trustless. You will be able to prove it that the token run inside T-Enclave within like some attestation and so on. You will be able to like touch some multiple privacy tech. I talk a lot about privacy, but we do use like ZK. We are maybe integrate some new techs if the need happens. We will be like omni-chain and multi-chain. I think it's a key point here. As I said, we create a private layer. So we are fully composable on any EVM chain, layer 1, layer 2, but also if the need happens in like another language, I mean like Cosmos, Solana, and so on, we will be able to go there with a little bit of work. And the last one, as I said, is selective disclosure. We do believe that it's a key part of our protocols to onboard institutional, but also any projects that they want to work with us, because the key part of the RWA is to mix compliance, blockchain, and confidentiality. So this feature answers the three questions, and we are quite like happy to have this one on our protocols. So yeah, as I said, our demo is available since Monday. Here is the link about like to trace the wrap, the transfer, and the unwrap amount. It's basically shield and shield like functions. It's on testnet on Arbitrums, and yeah, feel free to test it at the end. Or like we are also available in Cannes in the next few days. We organize like a private garden party in 1 hour. We will have some panel about like confidentiality, data privacy, and so on in the Hilton canopy near to like the main event. So feel free to come with us and talk about privacy and so on. And happy to answer any question if you may have. Yeah. Thank you. Do we have time for? Oh, another one?
So where would be the TEEs? Is that for like who will own the TEEs and process the transactions on the TEEs? Will it be the nodes or?
I mean, you mean like the running of the transactions, like the smart contract, like owner?
Yeah, like where the TEEs execute exactly. Like, is it for those transactions for the confidential tokens, or is that some complete other thing?
We have both. I mean, we use TE to encrypt the ACL, which is like the smart contract for like access list control, and we do use the developer are here, but we do use TE as well to encrypt like the smart contract computations for the use case, the specific use case.
Those smart contracts are on the EVM.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are all EVM, yeah, based for the testnet on Arbitrums on mainnet.
Okay.
Here we go.